Welcome to Urban Animals, a project born from the collaboration of photographers worldwide exploring the complex relationship between animals and urban environments. In an increasingly urbanized world, animals, wild, domestic or represented, continue to find their place in our cities. Through the lens of these artists, we discover how nature pervades our built spaces, adapting, resisting, and sometimes thriving. The voices you will hear tell stories of coexistence, of blurred boundaries between the wild and the urban, of resilience and adaptation. They remind us that, despite concrete and asphalt, we remain part of a larger ecosystem where even the gaze of a cat or the flight of a flock of birds can reveal profound truths about our own urban condition.
Our guest author, documentary photographer Dario de Domestici, lends a powerful narrative dimension to our photographic journey with his acclaimed projects To the Left of Christ, documenting the fading world of the artisanal fishermen of Guanabara Bay, whose traditions and environment were irreversibly altered by the promises and failures of the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, and Favela Hill, where he explores the stark contrast between poverty and progress in Providencia, the oldest favela in Rio de Janeiro. The images reveal the resilience and adaptation of these creatures as they navigate the concrete jungles shaped by human hands.
Hello everyone, my name is Pierre. I'm a Parisian-based photographer, and I'm super happy to be part of the Urban Animal exhibition now happening in Trieste. So, what drew me to this particular theme? I think I saw it as an opportunity to actually bear witness of the wonders of nature in an urban environment. And it's quite a challenge because, at least in Paris, due to a series of factors, global warming, but also how the city has been evolving for the past decade, well, the presence of nature, and most notably animals, has become increasingly rare. And I believe that the picture that was selected, which I entitled The Swarm, is an actual representation of this context. So as you can see in the picture, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of starlings taking over the Parisian sky. And I have to tell you, from the perspective of a born and raised Parisian, that this sight, that I used to see quite a lot when I was a kid, well, now it's becoming increasingly rare. And it's due to the fact, unfortunately, that bird population in Paris has been steadily declining for a number of years now. So for me, this picture, it's both a testament to the beauty of these animals and this natural phenomenon called murmuration, but it's also a warning. It's a warning that if we don't pay attention to how we develop cities in the near future, well, these wonderful sights of nature, they could actually be gone, and probably, unfortunately, sooner than we think. So that being said, I hope I'll get the chance to attend the festival myself, see all the incredible work that will be exhibited there for sure. And well, in the meantime, I wish you a good day and I thank you for your attention. Cheers!
Hi, I'm Guillaume Peterman, a French photographer. Among other things, I like to capture the interactions between people and nature. That's why I'm glad to be part of the Urban Animals project and to share the story of my photo series named Ara, the Pact of the Hyenas. In Ara, which is located in eastern Ethiopia, every night hyenas roam the city, and for generations the locals have fed them, fostering a rare harmony between humans and wildlife. When I took these images, I was amazed by the trust between people and these wild animals. This wasn't just about animals adapting to urban life. It was about an agreement between two species sharing the same space. The essence of the This photo series is to reveal the links between wildlife and urban life. It's not just a question of survival, but a question of coexistence. And that's what I have tried to highlight through my work. I look forward to seeing how the other photographers in this project bring their own perspective to urban animals topic.
Since I was a child, I've been fascinated by animals, especially cats and dogs. I always felt a deep, intimate connection with them. Somehow, I've come to believe that animals represent us as a human, but without the filter. They carry a purity of soul that we often lack. And maybe that's why we don't pretend with our pets the way we do in our social life. Hi, I'm Francesco Meggio, and this is A Dog's Life. This project began with a simple observation: how closely our pets reflect who we are. Dogs, cats adapt to our life without effort. They follow our rhythm, pick up on our moods. Sometimes they even start to resemble us emotionally. And doing so, they become more than just animals. They become mirrors, a symbol of how we live, how we love, and sometimes how we feel lost. One of the most intimate places where this transformation takes shape is the table. It's a space of connection, but also of absence, of celebration, and sometimes quiet detachment. In my pictures, I explore this contrast, the presence of animals at the table, not begging for food, but offering something deeper: companionship, acceptance, a silent kind of presence that says, I'm here. This series is not just about pets, it's about what it means to share space, to be seen, to be loved, even in our most ordinary human moments. And sometimes it's through them, these often silent companions, that we remember how to be more human ourselves.
Hi, I am a nameless street photographer. As you can see, I'm animated by artificial intelligence, but I'm pretty strict in my photography. No artificial intelligence, no Photoshop, just simple photography. From time to time, they even look a bit rough. Most of the time, I stroll around my hometown Berlin and photograph human and non-human animals to find images that fit into my worldview. Or even better, just touch me directly, like this dog. Why tear dogs' teddy bears into pieces? Nobody knows for sure. They say it's a hunting instinct. But do they also hunt teddy bears? There's only plush inside. First, this absurdity fascinated me about the scene. That's why I entitled the picture Plush. The magic about animals is that they're creating their own spaces. The two cats in the other picture, which I have called In the Back, also create their own universe, but a completely different one. The space is limited by the right angles of the man-made architecture. Both of their looks are directed towards the nearest possible distance, which is just out of reach. We human animals would probably call it longing. This fascinating coexistence between animals and urban spaces always fascinates me, so I am more than happy to be part of Urban Animal. Many thanks to the team for bundling the topic in an exhibition and a book, and that you have selected me. I am very curious to see how the other photographers deal with the subject. I hope the exhibition will be a great success. Kind regards from Berlin.
Hello, my name is Anna Bobrowska, and I'm a photojournalist from Poland, and I'm honored to be part of this exhibition. The Urban Animals theme inspires me because it shows how people and animals live together in busy city lives. It reminds us that urban spaces are shared not just by people but also by animals who adapt, observe, and sometimes even shape city lives. I took this photo in Kathmandu, Nepal, during a quiet moment in busy Durbar Square. This particular moment struck me. A cow, considered sacred in Hindu culture, walks calmly among people and pigeons. It was striking to see how natural the scene was. No one seemed surprised to see cow's presence. Life floated around it. A woman takes a selfie, children play, others just sits or just passing by. Yet the cow, majestic serene, grounds the moment in a deeper cultural and spiritual context. It was a perfect example of how animals and humans coexist in harmony amidst urban chaos. To me, urban animals are not just a part of the background. They are part of the city's identity and rhythm. They are quiet participants in the story of the city. This project captured this beautifully. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andrew McLeish. I'm a photographer based in Paris, and I'm delighted to share two of my photographs which are part of the Urban Animals project. Both of these photographs were taken during a month-long trip to India, where I saw a different animal every day. The first photograph was a rather unexpected scene because I saw an Asian elephant walking down the road, and as it got closer to the car, I asked the driver to slow down so that I could frame the elephant as it walked past the car door window. The shape of the car door window correlated perfectly to the profile of the elephant, and I particularly liked the contrast of the rough textured skin, the very cool grey coloured skin of the elephant, and the very smooth warm colours in the interior of the car. The second photograph was taken on my last day in India, and I was walking around downtown Delhi where there's lots of street art and paintings, and there was a mural which had a white cow staring right at the viewer. So as I was standing in front of the cow, I happened to notice that a real live cow was walking down the road slowly towards me, and I waited for it to enter the frame. I walked past the other cow, and I quite like, again, the contrast between the white cow and the black cow, and the fact they're walking in completely different directions. And it was nice to finish my trip on that particular photograph because I'd seen lots of cows around India because they're sacred in Hindu culture. And I'd like to thank everyone involved in this project and this exhibition. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Leonardo Martin and I am honored to have been selected with 2 photos for the annual project exhibit round on the theme Urban Animals. This open call immediately spoke to me because I always been passionate and fascinated from the animal world, especially in street photography, to documenting the relationship between humans and their pets. The first photo, titled Gelecek, was taken in Istanbul. I was walking near the new mosque under the renovation when I saw this large banner with the bold blue slogan. In front of it, families were playing together, taking pictures, feeding the pigeons. You could barely see the mosque behind them, and the only thing visible were the pigeons, and one word on the banner that means future. It reminds me of a scene from Venice, where people feeding pigeons in Piazza San Marco. So the thought was that some tradition never change, no matter the city and how much we talk about the future. Certain habits, travel time, travel space, and will never change. The second photo is from Tokyo during the Sakura Festival in Nakameguro, and a chihuahua dressed like the owner sits comfortably in her arms, and if you look closely, I swear he's giving me a look. It's like he's saying, "How dare you take a picture of me without asking?" Slightly annoyed and a little superior, the dog seems more present than the human. These moments make me reflect on how we engage the world and the moment, and how sometimes we forget to look up and simply enjoy the present.
Hello, I'm Christopher Moon. I'm a photographer and artist working out of London, and I'm thrilled this year to be included in the Urban Animals exhibition and book with my portfolio, Are They Real? Whenever I go to a new place, I'm always drawn to the animals and nature within it. They make the environment a much more pleasant place to be. They take the edge off an area which, to be built, has usually had all the nature and animals physically removed. But as humans, we want them to be there. And if there are no real animals there, we place facsimiles where they would have been. So we have posters on the wall, we have statues, we have them ingrained in our pavements. Corporate companies use them as mascots to make them seem friendlier. We even ride on magical horses in the fairground. And so there's a natural connection with humans and animals, and we want to maintain that even within our busy towns and cities. And so it's not just for children, I think it's for adults as well. It makes us feel safer and more connected with the wider world. So I'm very excited to see how other photographers have interpreted the theme, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the exhibition over the next few days. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Thiago, and I'm excited to share with you a little bit about my project for urban animals. The theme inspired me because it highlights how animals, wild or domestic, shape and adapt to our urban spaces. It's a relationship full of resilience, beauty, and sometimes unexpected tenderness. My two photos, they tell small but meaningful stories. In Time to Eat, shot in Hall, a small town in Switzerland, I captured a quiet moment of existence. So a woman is feeding two swans right at the lake's edge. It's a simple yet profound interaction between human kindness and nature within an urban setting. In Terracotta Tangram, shot in Bologna, Italy, a man and his dog stride confidently through the terracotta-colored streets, blending into the city's vibrant current. It's a perfect example of how pets become part of the city's rhythm and design. For me, urban animals is about celebrating these everyday moments of connection where animals aren't just surviving in our cities. They're enriching them, they're driving them, and make them a little bit better. Thank you.
Hello, I am Arman. When I read the project, I remembered the historical structure of Istanbul and the street cats, because the cats of Istanbul date back to the Ottoman period. As a society, we do not see cats as strays living on the streets. We see them as living beings that share our common living space with cats. That is why we had them to be sheltered and fed. When I took this photo, I was inspired by old texture of the Saint Joseph French orphanage, which was built in Istanbul in 1868 and is a historical place, and I took a photo because cats were sheltered there. The Urban Animals Project can show us that it will raise awareness and that we can share common living space with them. I also had the opportunity to get to know the cats of Istanbul more closely.
Hello, I'm Gerardo Lloret. I will participate in the Urban Animals photo exhibition with the yellow-legged gull in the Colosseum. For me, the urban animals, well, of course, are part of the urban landscape, and they are neighbors. Actually, in my daily life, when I'm walking around a city or a village, they offer a pause just to stop and look at them, or to hear them is a presence that influenced me positively, and I hope that I can inspire you something alike, to be more aware of your surroundings when you are walking in the street. To see you in the exhibition. Thank you, and see you soon.
Salve, sono Augusto Barbieri, fotografo in Busto Arsizio, Varese, Italia. Ho trovato molto interessante e stimolante il tema della relazione tra gli animali di contesti urbani, pensando soprattutto agli animali selvatici e alla loro capacità di sapersi adattare ai cambiamenti e al contesto cittadino. In particolare mi è venuto abbastanza spontaneo concentrarmi sugli scoiattoli grigi, in quanto sta velocemente aumentando la loro presenza nei parchi urbani, ma non solo nei parchi. Questo è indicativo di come la fauna selvatica, o almeno alcune specie, possa adattarsi e prosperare anche in ambiente urbano. La scelta di fotografare gli scoiattoli è anche un'opportunità per sensibilizzare riguardo alle dinamiche ecologiche. Gli scoiattoli grigi fotografati non sono una specie autoctona e la loro colonizzazione dagli ambienti urbani sta avvenendo a discapito degli autoctoni scoiattoli rossi. Si evidenzia quindi l'interazione tra specie diverse e la lotta per l'habitat in un contesto urbano in evoluzione. Per questo le foto vorrebbero anche essere un invito alla riflessione sull'importanza di conservare la biodiversità nelle nostre città.
When I read the call for urban animals, I was immediately impressed as animals are a recurring subject in my travels. I'm more used to photographing animals than people due to the shyness and sense of intimacy that are part of me. This trait influences all of my art. I'm a painter and photography has always been fundamental to my artistic research. When I take photos, my eyes seek out an atmosphere of introspection. Taking photo is an instinctive gesture that stems from a personal aesthetic. Everything the eye see is a transposition of the inner self. So the photoshoot is guided by an idea and requires empathy, whether it's a portrait, a landscape, a still life, or an animal. When I photograph animals, I'm captivated by the depth of their stillness, and I feel a sense of suspension. The photo selected for the exhibition shows a cat moving among the books in a famous bookshop in Venice. Also, the situation is funny. The image conveys a sense of coziness and silence.
Hi to everyone, I'm Alessandro, Street Photographer Science 2015. The theme of the Urban Animal Contest caught my attention right away because its strong meaning is bringing together two worlds that seem very different, the animal and the city, but are actually deeply connected. Documenting this relationship is a project I've been working on for a while with my friends and photographer Gianni Ranuio, and together we started an independent photography collective. My approach is direct, raw and filtered, a straight style that aims to show in the most honest way how animals live, adapt and blend into the urban environment. For me, it's a way to look at the city from a different point of view, where even the smallest detail can show how animals find their space and live alongside us in the city. Thanks to exhibit around to this opportunity.
Hello, I'm Gianni Ranuio and I practice street photography. Regarding this contest, Urban Animals, my project Editable Pigeons was born for a joke some years ago. And with my friend Alessandro Bocchi, we have a website that collects different common projects for our independent collective. In the street photography session, sometimes we make irony for photographers that take shoot of pigeons with expensive photographic gear. So the challenge is to take photo of these funny birds, trying to capture it with an uncommon look. In fact, in the first photo, the two pigeons were placed mirror-like on a road sign. The speed was the key to take a good composition. Instead, in the second picture, the contrast between pigeons and shadow create the composition. And this project is in progress on my website. I want to thank a lot Exhibit Around for this open call. And see you soon. Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Barold, and this is Patch, who is a living example of all the animals who are now omnipresent on the streets of our cities. Most of them are loved like Patch. Some we see on our advertising hoardings selling us things, and others are even beginning to start to assume human traits, rather like this horse in pajamas. Others, however, like this poor sad lioness who's been wrongfully imprisoned and condemned to live out her days in a trailer cage in a travelling menagerie, Others continue to be exploited, mistreated, and often sadly eaten.
Hi, I am Adriano Domenicis from Italy. I really like this project. It sparks creativity, and for beginners like me, it is also a great opportunity and honor to be part of an international project together with famous photographers. The inspiration came when I saw a fence on the beach with some cats painted on it. I liked the expression of those cats. Are they hiding from us, or do they want to reclaim the space we took away? It was also very fun to unleash my imagination by bringing to the beach some cats' silhouettes, looking for photographic inspiration. Thanks to the organizing committee for this great and very interesting project.
Hello, this is Marco Renzi from Rome, Italy. And first of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of Trieste Photo Days Festival for managing the event in general, and obviously for selecting my works for the project Urban Animals. This project has immediately and deeply attracted my attention and curiosity, as I believe that the interaction and contamination between humans and animals in the cities is one of the most interesting and also aesthetic aspect that can be observed in a daily urban context. Specifically, what drove me to take the photos selected for the project was the sort of aura, like an atmosphere that had been created around the dogs that I immortalized. In fact, while on one end they seem and are perfectly integrated in the environment and the buildings that surround them, on the other end they seem to be able to isolate themselves from the context around. In addition, the photos make me think about how a specific space that is essentially useless for humans could become useful and also so important for an animal. So I like to think that through my photos you can imagine a city where humans and animals can exchange favors and kindness each other, also using their relevant spaces. Because after all, we too are urban animals at the end. So thank you for this precious opportunity. I'm really enthusiastic about being part of this festival, and I look forward to seeing all the works selected around the world and meet a lot of interesting people during the festival in Trieste. So thank you very much again, and see you.
Hi, my name is Ivan Ornato, and I'm presenting my shots for the Urban Animal exhibition depicting the stable of urban fauna in Europe, the pigeons. I saw the call for this exhibition and I got excited, because I thought I definitely had something to share with you. While I travel, I love getting pictures of urban fauna and how these little creatures merge with the humans around them, and can give me with some fun, awe-inspiring or wholesome moment. And this reminds me how even the most anthropic environment is still part of nature as a whole.
Hello, my name is Gosia Matejuk. I live in the UK and I'm thrilled to share with you one of my pictures as a part of Urban Animals project. I love traveling, and during my visit to Porto, I captured a moment where the seagull was observing tourists who were busy taking pictures of the bridge, so the seagull went completely unnoticed. This situation highlights how urban wildlife coexists with us in our bustling cities. The essence of urban life often overshadows the fascinating creatures that share our spaces. These moments of connection between humans and wildlife should remind us to slow down and observe the beauty around us. I believe projects like these are vital in raising awareness about the importance of urban ecosystems. So thank you for the opportunity to contribute to Urban Animals Project, and I look forward to seeing everyone's unique perspective at the Trieste Photo Days. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny from Hong Kong. I mainly focus on landscape, wildlife, and nature photography. I started taking photographs like maybe 2 to 3 years ago, and I think that photography is a very powerful tool for me because it let me go out more and explore more around the world. Just like the hamster, sneaking out from the pipe, exploring a new place, and having a bigger picture of the whole world. Except from taking spectacular landscape photos in a beautiful place, I also pay attention to small things in the environment around me, just like when I'm walking in the street, hiking up the mountain, or walking around in the nature. Because I think that even though there are only small things, there must be some stories behind them. And we can use different perspectives or angles to observe them. We could find out the stories about them or even get some inspiration from them. And I think that camera is a really great tool for us to bring those stories and inspiration out, or even create their own stories by us. I think that's the most powerful thing of photography, and that's the reason why I'm really devoted in photography.
Hi, I'm Yulia Zyrina. When animals and people share a space, it's always something. Funny, touching, sometimes surreal, but never boring. My photos comes from real moments with my family. A pigeon got stuck in our garage. We had to catch him before he ruined the car. A stork with a hard leg stayed near our home for 2 weeks. I took his photo on a rooftop at sunset. And the calm look of that cow, I caught it during a Sunday walk.
Hello everybody, I am Massimo Pretti. I am a photographer for hobbies since I was 14 years old. First of all, I would like to thank Exhibit Around that allows me to share my photo in this very interesting call. As my things to photography, it's not me that search the subject for a photo, but it's the subject that, in a certain sense, finds my interest and drives me to take a photo. This is the case also for the photo that was selected for this contest. The position of the 3 pigeons changed the sculpture and becomes part of the sculpture itself. Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Roberto Roscetti. I come from central Italy. I have lived for a year in Canavese, an area north of Turin. I was born as a wildlife photographer, but my passion for photography led me to search for the wild within the urban walls. The interaction of these elements acquired completely new, a surprise connotation. Urban Animal is the opportunity to show it. Love, Alessio.
Hi everyone, I'm Dario Benigno. Thanks to this call, I had the opportunity to explore the connection between animal and urban life. The idea behind these photos was to show animals in a dynamic or unexpected context, to capture their movement, their presence, and how they interact with the city. Thank you for this opportunity.
Ciao, mi chiamo Armando Maniciati, sono italiano e vivo a Padova. Fotografo la natura da oltre 40 anni e sono vicepresidente dell'AFNI, Associazione Fotografi Naturalisti Italiani. La fotografia di animali in città è il genere che più mi appassiona e che mi ha dato negli anni le più grandi soddisfazioni e riconoscimenti, come in questo caso. L'immagine della fotogra è molto recente, è stata scattata questo inverno in un piccolo porticciolo vicino a Trieste. Quando ho notato la scena ho intravisto il potenziale che aveva. Quei riflessi di rosso, bianco e azzurro e del soggetto nero potevano renderla molto interessante e unica. L'altra foto, quella con gli aironi riflessi di città, non è recente, ma quella che negli anni mi ha dato molte soddisfazioni. È una foto che quando vidi il soggetto l'ho studiata molto nella sua composizione. tanto che alcuni l'hanno paragonata ai quadri astratti di Mondrian. Grazie.
Hello, my name is Juhan Nurminen. I'm a Finnish-born photographer, currently living in Paris, France, and that is also the city where I took both of my photographs that were selected for this year's festival. A quick word about the photos. The one with the crow, it was taken at the Père Lachaise cemetery, a nice place to observe flora and fauna in Paris. I like the photo because of the posture of the bird, just going there, minding its own business. It has this certain grace and beauty in it. And the other one with the swan swimming in the Seine River, passing the two men. I was first intrigued by the contrast of the white bird and the dark water in the afternoon sun. But in the post-processing, I noticed the expression of the two men who are smiling as they are watching the bird passing them. So I also like to think that maybe they are seeing the grace and beauty of the white bird, and that's why they are smiling. It's a nice idea.
Hi, my name is Silvana Medica. I'm from this city, Trieste. I'm not a professional photographer, but I'm very passionate about photography. I'm deeply honored to be participating in this exhibition with a photo I took in Rome just after the COVID lockdown, when the city was not so full of tourists. Generally, I think that animals that are used to carry tourists around are pretty sad, forced to obey orders and without freedom of movement. But in this case, I think I captured a different image. This beautiful horse seemed to me to be very proud to resume its service after the lockdown and to be back to its normal working hours. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emma Hennessy. I was inspired by the Urban Animals Call theme because I grew up in urban Ireland, and the theme inspired me to think about the different animals and settings and environments, that were mundane to me and that I had always taken for granted, and how I could be working to capture them and document them. I also grew up across the road from a cemetery, so I've always had a fascination with how plant and animal life finds a way to thrive in the depths of human mourning. So my series is about the winged creatures of Highgate Cemetery in London. Highgate is one of my favourite places in London because you have this fleeting and almost oblivious behaviours of the bird and animal life there, and this contrasts with the permanence and sombre nature of the environment, and that's what I was hoping to capture with the series.
Hi everybody, my name is Tim Russell. I'm a British photographer now living in Bangkok. I've been in Southeast Asia since 2003, and I specialise mainly in street documentary and travel photography. Absolutely delighted to be part of Urban Animals. When I saw the call for this project, I was really excited. I do most of my shooting on the streets of Bangkok, and anyone who's been to Bangkok will know that we Bangkokians share our streets with a lot of stray dogs, a lot of cats, and the occasional chicken, the occasional monitor lizard. So animals are a big part of our lives here. I do a lot of shooting in an area of Bangkok called Klong Toi, which is home to the city's biggest wet market and is also home to what they locally call the slum area, although slum's a little bit of a harsh word. So a lot of the pictures you see in this project were taken there. The two pictures of the guys with chickens, and also the two cats manning the corner shop. And also probably my favourite in the project, which is the cat sitting in the shrine. Every house in Bangkok has a small spirit house or shrine, usually outside the house, and they're a popular place for cats to sit and eat. I like that picture in particular because it makes the cat look like he's an object of worship, which I think is how a lot of cats like to see themselves. And then there's one picture in there from Bangkok Pride as well. A lot of people who come to Bangkok Pride bring their dogs with them and dress their dogs up. And I particularly like that little chihuahua with sunglasses and a fake fringe. So I hope my submissions to the project just give you a little bit of a flavour of how much we love animals here in Bangkok and what an important part they play in the life of the city. And thanks to Stefano and the team for featuring my work, and I look forward to seeing it on display later this year. Thank you.
Hi, this is Lil Sternberg. I'm a Belgian Israeli photographer, and I think that the subject of urban animals is just amazing because I grew up with animals and I love them. What I actually find captivating is the fact that people tend to behave as if their cats or dogs were their baby and not an animal anymore. And I think it's quite funny. I hope you can find it back in my pictures. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Nancy Oliveri. I'm delighted that several of my photographs were selected for the Urban Animals exhibition. I'll talk about the first two are that I shot at Prospect Park Zoo during the COVID pandemic in New York City. It was one of the few places that remained open, so I would visit a troop of baboons there and established a relationship between the glass. And one of the things that I look for when I shoot humans and animals is evidence of like an unconscious mirroring or nonverbal communication. And I feel like I got that in a few of these photographs. So that was what I was going for. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Thorsten Power, and I'm very pleased to be one of the chosen photographers for the show Urban Animals within the Trieste Photo Day. I love to tell stories with my picture, a story that leaves open what the viewer associates with it. Urban environments are full of unexpected encounters between nature, imagination, and human life. The child with the inflatable ring creates a visual dialogue between real life and the surreal presence of this oversized flamingo, blurring the line between reality and whimsy. Or a similar almost applies for the picture of the sheep out of place in a man-altered environment, caught within human traces and nature's quiet reclaiming. The artificial boundary between human design and natural instinct fades away. Finally, the man surrounded by the stuffed animals, silently smoking, watching the crowd below, highlights how modern cities tame not only animals but also human emotion, replacing the wild with the artificial. The soft toy bears represent both comfort and emptiness, mass-produced creatures that replace authentic connections in the urban wildlife. This contrast always inspired me to explore how the wild is transformed and staged in modern cities. This is explored in my work through different lenses. To sum it up, I want to tell small urban fables about adoption, presence, and longing, reflecting how in every corner of urban life the wild is never truly gone. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Raghuram Shauli, a photographer from Canada. I'm really happy to share that this project, Wings Over Concrete, has been pre-selected for Urban Animals Photobook and Exhibition. To talk more about it, this project is very close to my heart because I love finding unique aspects and patterns in everyday things. I have always been fascinated by how wildlife, especially birds, integrate and manage to live and move through busy cities. Even with all the noise, buildings, and traffic, they still fly freely and gracefully. Observing and capturing these unique patterns is what my project is all about. I'm super excited to be a part of Triste Photo Days Festival and can't wait to see everyone's amazing work. Thank you once again for the great opportunity.
Hi, I am Agnes. I love being outdoor and enjoying the nature. Animals can be found everywhere, including cities. It is fascinating seeing the life of animals in the urban environment. I try to capture with my camera the animals are not hidden and cohabit with us.
Hello, my name is Alessandra Conetani, and I believe that this life is too fast. It's for this that we have to inspire from animal because the animal follow the instinct. And we have to do the same. My snail in my photo walked in the street is slow. And I believe that we have to live our life slow.
Hello everyone, I'm Anna Carla from Friuli Venezia Giulia. As soon as I read the title of the contest, I became curious about the theme. Nowadays, animals are our adventure companions. They can cheer us up, keep us company, and listen to us. But above all, they are free beings who share our daily lives, and for this reason, we owe them respect and care. The photo I submitted was taken in Cuba, and I find it interesting because of the familiarity of the scene. In that country, animals share daily life and sometimes the hardship of living closely with people, just as it used to be in our own communities not long ago. I would like to thank Exhibition Around in Trieste for selecting my photo, and I'm honored to be part of this beautiful exhibition.
Hello everyone, my name is Anna Zarucka and I come from Poland. I am a journalist and my passion is analog photography. The story of this photo is short because I use my only chance to capture such a timid animal as lizards undoubtedly are. In the place where the photo was taken, the people believe that lizards are a talisman that protect the house and bring happiness to the family. I hope it will bring me luck too. The photo was taken on a Miezi M camera, and the little lizard allowed me to take 2 frames. In the end, I would like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to participate in this competition. Good luck to all. Regards.
Hi, my name is Aina Maitolu. I'm the photographer of the picture titled The Cock or The Cock in the City, which I took in Istanbul in 2024. What I love particularly about this photo is that it captures something very essential about the city itself. And if you've ever been to Istanbul, you know that it's a very vibrant city and it is filled with clashing contradictions all of the time. And I thought this picture really encapsulated that perfectly. And what inspired me about the call urban animals is the focus on this interaction between 2 things we usually see very separate, so like animals or wildlife and urban life. I find it quite fascinating. As humans, we often believe that we can separate ourselves from nature completely in the big cities when that's not really true. Like nature always finds a way and everything is interconnected and we're part of a bigger ecosystem, and I think it's very interesting to examine that relationship.
Hi, my name is Bastian and I come from Germany. I'm really happy to be part of the new book Urban Animals. Like the surrounding here, it's about the nature, the beauty of the nature, and also here we are not far away from the big city Mainz, where I live. And the two photographs show some different scenes. The one is called Last Dance. It's almost a raw photo, and I just used a little bit contrast to make a dramatic scene from it. To see are some shadows of biscuits in a garden pond, and that's it. The other one, it's photo art, and it's taken in the harbor of Frankfurt. To see, you can see some different houses and also white cheeses flying over the water, and I like the photo a lot. I hope you too, and enjoy both of them. Thanks a lot.
Olá, eu sou a Cristina, sou uma fotógrafa amadora de Portugal. Obrigada por este convite, que faz todo o sentido para mim eu partilhar fotografias convosco de animais, porque a minha vida é rodeada de animais, que eu adoro. A fotografia do Paddington que partilho convosco é de um gato meu, que pela primeira vez a ver o fogo na lareira ficou fascinada a observar e tive logo que capturar e partilhar convosco esta fotografia. A fotografia da vaca é uma fotografia na natureza, que é o que eu gosto de fazer, fotografias de animais e de plantas e tudo mais, na natureza. Esta fotografia é de uma vaca que me observa como eu a observei ela, que é feita na Ilha dos Açores, e por isso não posso deixar de partilhar convosco este meu prazer e muito obrigada pelo convite. Espero vê-los em breve.
When I read the theme of the contest, urban animals, my mind immediately went to the usual city dwellers, cats, pigeons, dogs. But then a surreal moment I lived in October came back to me. I was in a small town of Georgia, Shatura, when suddenly I witnessed something completely unexpected. Among streets and buildings, some cows was grazing peacefully, as if that place was their natural habitat. They looked completely at home. It was a sight that left me speechless. There was a strange magic in that scene, a kind of fusion between two distant worlds. And in that moment, I took a photo to capture that surprise. The cows had become true urban animals, unusual, but perhaps for that incredibly fascinating. Thank you for listening, and I wish everyone a great contest.
Hello, my name is Ekaterina Yerofeeva, and I'm a photographer located in California. My photo of the parliament is taking part in the exhibition Urban Animals. It was quite easy for me to pick a photo to submit for this theme because we have so much wildlife and animals and birds, nature here in California, so I have a lot of pictures of such a kind. I'm very happy to take a part of this exhibition, and I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Elisa, and I'm extremely proud and grateful to be part of Urban Animals with my project called Looking Forward. Urban Animals to me was a very interesting call since it reminds to all of us that we are not alone in the city. And it is always surprising how wildlife can really adapt to urban setting and how animals can really tell us a story. And this is the beauty and the power of photography, of frozen frame that can really tell us a story. And this was for me for my Looking Forward.
My name is Enrico Giacomelli and I live in Trieste. Urban animals has been a very stimulating thing. There is a world, our world as citizens living in the cities, which is codified and completely constructed, which considers the natural only as an ornament or a urban furniture. And there is the world of the wild, of the animals that becomes our new fellow citizen and that finds in the folds of the cities its new unexpected natural environment. The animal world is something tolerated, something surprising, when with a sudden joy it reveals its wildness, its animality. after it had appeared to us as a particular but discreet neighbor. This contrast, this surprise, is what I researched for my shot. For the first photo, I tried to capture the surprise of a new Robinson Crusoe who discovers that its footprints on the sand are not the only ones, but that animals, birds, also leave their mark on the beach. For the second photo, some dogs, greyhounds, elegantly dressed in coats and leading inside a public place, seems to consider in unison whether outside of the crowded place there isn't a more suitable place for such sophisticated animals. Here's my urban animals. Good time.
Hi, I'm Vanja Hubers from the Netherlands and my passion is photography. I try to be aware of my own experiences in life and connect them to my photos, and I do that in different projects. One of the projects is it's street photography, and I call it one moment in time, because the moment you catch will never come back, and that fascinates me. What also fascinates me is how people and animals are moving side by side in the city, and I think animals are an important part of city life. So I try to catch funny moments or maybe moving moments that make me smile and hopefully make others smile also. When I saw this call for the project Urban Animals, I thought, take a chance. And I'm very, very happy and very honored that my photo is part of this project. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Federica and I'm really honored to be part of the Urban Animal exhibition. My photograph depicts a phenomenon that takes place every year in the countryside around the neighborhood where I live. In Italian, this is called transumanza. The seasonal migration of flocks between the mountains and the plains is a perfect representation of the deep connection between the human lives, the animals, and the changing of the seasons. Being able to see it every year brings me great joy, and I really love to take pictures of the animals as they pass by my house.
Mi chiamo Francesca Semerano e ho fatto questo lavoro di ricerca qualche anno fa a Cuba. La mia attenzione è stata attratta in prima battuta dall'animale che bellissimo, che guardava l'obiettivo quasi in modo altero. E il giovane proprietario sembrava trattarlo quasi in modo affettuoso, lo aveva abbracciato e gli praticava delle spugnature fresche, però al tempo stesso la mia sensazione è stata ambivalente perché vedendolo con la cresta tagliata, depilato, legato, non potevo non pensare alla violenza che praticano a questi animali eccitandoli alla lotta a scopo di scommessa. Questa è una pratica molto radicata nella tradizione, che però è stata in realtà vietata e tuttavia viene spesso ancora tollerata.
This year call for entries of the topic of urban animals with the book of the same name was spectacularly inspiring. I always like to incorporate animal scenes into my street photography. That day I was in Vienna and wanted to pursue my passion for street photography. The color photo titled Jumping Out shows a dog jumping out of a pool. I saw a man repeatedly throwing a ball into the pool for his dog on a hot summer day. Once he threw the toy too far, causing it to fly out of the pool, and the dog jumped after it. I happened to be standing in the right spot, quickly pressed the shutter button, and captured the scene with a very fast exposure time.
Hey, ciao, my name is Giancarlo Valli. I'm a beginner photographer living between Genova and Chiavari. A few years ago, I started taking pictures in manual mode again. One of the topics of my photography research is the relationship between animals and urban spaces. For this reason, I immediately decided to join this call with 3 photos that are very special to me. One photo showed a dove on top of a chimney of an old house, like ones you still see in the historic center of San Marino, a place I love very much. Here, the bird looks like a guard ready to give an alarm, but really it just wants peace. Another photo shows a seagull moving on the edge of a boat. The boat, with many reflections of colorful houses by the sea, becomes part of a natural puzzle, almost like watercolor, like the ones we often see in Liguria. The last photo shows sweet Carlotta sleeping deeply in the arms of Morpheus. In the background there is the face of a dog that seems to watch over her rest. Thank you for the chance to introduce myself and maybe also to be appreciated a little. See you next time!
Hi there, I'm Giuseppe Sant'Angeli from Rome, Italy. Urban animals thrive in our cities, having adapted remarkably to the urban environment. My two pictures are focusing on pigeons. Pigeons are seen in bustling squares and sometimes considered pests, but I believe these often overlooked birds possess a curious personality. They are a constant presence, a kind of wild touch within our urban landscape, demonstrating nature's ability to persist even in the most developed areas.
Photographing animals is something I've enjoyed for both commercial assignments as well as artistic studies. That's why when I saw the call for urban animals, I entered the same day. What a great idea for a competition. It doesn't surprise me though, because Exhibit Around and Trieste Photo Days is the best platform for photographers that I have ever seen. Let me tell you about two of my entries. This one is entitled Aerial Thief. As you know, at a certain point in street photography, you begin to anticipate a shot, to see a shot coming ahead of time. This time, in a busy marketplace, many people were dining at a curbside diner, and there were plenty of pigeons all around. I started shooting, anticipating that a bird would cross my path. This image is a result of that. My next image is called Nice Doggy Photo. I wanted to shoot a dog on a cobblestone street and had a good friend with a well-trained German Shepherd. I asked if he and his dog could walk toward the camera, but instead he yelled attack, and the dog came charging toward me. I wasn't quite expecting that, but just kept shooting anyway, as he quickly pulled him back before he nearly laid me flat. This shot turned out to be a lot more dramatic than what I was expecting. That's the thing with photography. You can plan as much as you want, but the unexpected always happens. You just have to be ready for it. Thank you, Trieste Photo Days, for providing so much exposure and opportunities for all of us that love photography.
Hello, I'm Ilaria Tassini. I'm an Italian photographer, and I'm very happy of being part for the fourth time of the big Exhibit Around project for Trieste Photo Days. I very appreciated the theme of this year, urban animals, because I love animals, I love to photograph them, and I also a proud cat mama. The first picture is called Urban Cow. It's very significant for me because I live in Gorizia, a small town at the boundaries between Italy and Slovenia. And this year, Gorizia and the twin city of Nova Gorica in Slovenia are together the European Capital of Culture 2025. And I take this photo from Slovenia, but the view is both on Italy and Slovenia. This cow lives on the hill of Castagnevica, a sanctuary also known as the Little Saint Denis, because here rests some Bourbon sovereign exiled after French Revolution. On this hill, some farm animals live happily and they look at Slovenia and Italy. The castle that you see is Gorizia in Italy, and the mountain in the background are in Slovenia. I titled the other picture Vanity Fair because I take it in the beautiful Parco Pallavicino in Stresa, where hundreds of animals live pretty free. Near a small lake in the park, a group of beautiful flamingos were mirroring themselves. And this made me smile because they look to me like the influencer of animal world. So I hope you will enjoy Trieste Photo Days and the exhibition and the book of urban animals. And thank you so much to Exhibit Around for the opportunity to display my picture.
Hello, my name is Irina. I'm an art and street photographer from Helsinki. I'm drawn to theme of animals interacting with the urban environment. I often notice how they become a part of daily city's life. In my photography, I'm to capture moments like these. In this shot, are two elderly women sitting on a bench with a small dog. For me, it's a moment about of true friendship, and I'm glad I could capture it. It's about simply observing and preserving these calm moments.
I think that the essence of a good photo, sometimes it's just plain luck or good timing. Could be a contradictory situation, two people glancing at each other, or maybe just a person that looks into the camera at the right moment. That can do all the difference in the world for your photos. For this one in particular, I was around with two friends taking photos of them when these two swans just get into the picture, and I thought this is a very good one, so I just took the picture, and I think it's a special one.
Bonjour, I'm Jean-Marc Benson, a photographer from Montreal, Canada. I'm honored to be part of Urban Animals. My vision was to capture animals in unusual settings doing ordinary things in a quirky way. My first picture named Music Cat, my cat named Silrat decided to take a nap in a moving box where I was storing my music books. In this picture, I was able to combine my three passions, which are animals, photography, and music, all combined in one special moment. The second picture, named The Sphinx, was taken in 2024, a month before my beautiful Sphinx named Loli departed to a better place. In this picture, Loli stood in front of a golden Buddha that I had. I'd always envisioned a type of East meets West influence picture. And the funny behind the story scene is that while I was trying to take the picture of Loli, my other cats were trying to jump in the frame. And every single time, Loli would push them away because she knew she was the star attraction, and that she knew. Thanks again, Loli, for this beautiful moment.
Hello, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my project, Animal Cosmo. When I first read the title of the call, Urban Animals, I started thinking how we often anthropomorphize animals and we attribute to them traits and behaviors which are human. There are situations, thankfully, when animals seem to come as messengers to remind us that we are not the only ones to live on this planet and there is something else outside of us as humans. I think last year's experience in the Amazon forest has been one of these situations where I felt part of something much bigger than me, and not just in the obvious environment, the forest, but also in urban centers and in towns. Animals would often appear like spirits, and especially if you become aware about the cosmology of the Amazon and how animals cover very important roles, well, whenever you see one appearing, it's startling, it's incredible. So without even being aware of it, I started taking pictures of animals appearing between buildings, in water reflections on the streets, and and I just wanted to give them a voice.
Hi, my name is Mirav Morudi, and I'm presenting an artwork called Plastic Animals. In this work, you could see people sitting at a lake with animal masks, and it was created after I suffered a post-traumatic event, and it was my way of healing. It all started when I was a child, and I heard of an experiment of someone who taken a white dove, painted it black and returned it to her folks, and the other doves didn't recognize her with the paint and killed her. It was called the painted bird. And I felt the same thing. I felt an immigrant that is trying to fit in, while the others saw me as a threat. And all of my friends sitting in the group of people wearing animal masks, they're all immigrants from different parts of the world, trying to rebuild themselves and fitting and build a community.
Hello, my name is Maria Remo and I'm happy to be part of the Urban Animals project. This is a story from Torcello, a small island in the Venetian lagoon where time seems to stand still. My photograph is called Pausa Pranzo, lunch break. The 3 ducks gather around an old stone fountain just in front of a famous guest house, the place where Ernest Hemingway used to stay and set out for his duck hunts in the late 1940s. I took the photo from my traditional Venetian fishing boat, moored in the same small canal, where Hemingway used to embark on his hunts. My boat is low in the water. It puts me eye to eye with the ducks. Hemingway is now history. The ducks have remained. They've taken over the place. A new kind of bird's eye view, not from above, but from the ground up, as if the world now belongs to them and we are the ones just passing through.
My name is Hartmut Hassan, and I greet you with a quote from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry: "One sees only with the heart. What is essential is invisible to the eye." Despite my large family and intense work throughout my career, I consider myself fortunate that my wife and children have always accepted my interest in nature and photography. To my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, I'm the Click Opa. I've occasionally watched TV reports on urban animals, but it wasn't until this competition that I discovered my interest. I'm fascinated by how animals can integrate into living conditions and a changing environment. God has given us immense potential for adaptation. This miracle impressed me to portray it. We only need to look out of the window and I keep seeing my image of the dove in front of me. A spectacle that repeats itself over and over again. But isn't that incredibly romantic in the evening sun? I often travel to photograph animals in the wild. That's how Barn Owl on the Move came about. I spotted the bird in a neighboring field. Soon the owl was flying parallel to me, along the houses. A beautiful spectacle.
Hello everyone, my name is Juan Maialardo. I'm an Italo-Argentine photographer and musician. I'm moving to Bologna this 2025. I'm really glad for being part and being selected for the exhibition and the book at Trieste Photo Days in the project Urban Animals, which I think it's a great challenge on street photography, shifting focus from people to animals, which I think they are extremely connected with beauty and harmony. Talking about the image that I submitted and that I took in the past, I was in Girona, Spain, and I wanted to show the city from another point of view. So I thought about some elements like the Oño River, dogs who plays an important role in this environment, and this particular house when it's cold. So I must wait for a long time, especially at sunset light, which we all know that it's a very beautiful light to get some pictures. And that's it, just waiting for this special moment with the dog cuts this reflection. Thank you again. Thank you. Congratulations to others, of course. And I really hope to attend even in person. Bye bye. Ciao a tutti.
Hello. My name is Simon and I'm delighted to be part of the Urban Animals project. I'm a passionate traveller and have taken photographs of people and places all over the world. As a street photographer, I try to capture that moment when colour, shape, movement and shadows come together to form a startling image. I'm interested in people, but I also take photos of animals. For example, a dog doing a somersault in a Madrid square, or a seagull perched on a bridge in Dublin, or a sleeping cat curled up in the middle of the street in Lanzarote. Animals are an integral part of the urban landscape. They are our silent, humble partners. This exhibition is a tribute to them.
Hi, my name is Kaya and I'm honored to be a part of this year's Urban Animals video project. And I would like to share a little bit about what inspired me and a little bit about my own photograph. So what inspired me about this theme is that it explores the complex relationship between animals and human-made environments, and not just about their coexistence, but also some of the challenges and tensions that may arise from that. I believe this is a very important topic because it sheds light on how animals are forced sometimes to adapt to spaces that weren't necessarily made for them, which can often show their vulnerability. And in my image, I also photographed a few Barbary sheep trying to navigate a human enclosed environment. So there is a tangled yellow hose around the sheep, and it symbolizes that some urban interventions, even if unintentional, can interfere with the natural instincts and the freedom of animals. It serves as a reminder that our built environment can deeply affect the other species. Thank you for the opportunity to share this reflection in this video, and I'm excited to see what everybody else says.
Hello, I'm Lance Rothstein. I live in Clearwater, Florida in the United States. Thank you so much for including me in this wonderful exhibition in Trieste. I love the city and hope to be back there again soon. I've been a photojournalist most of my life, working for newspapers and magazines. And now I also teach photography in several different locations. I run some traditional dark rooms and teach film photography and developing and printing. So I'm always walking around with my film camera, usually taking black and white pictures. This particular day I walked into one of my favorite coffee shops, not as good as Trieste of course, but I came across this man sitting with his dog who looked like he was playing chess, and I thought it was kind of humorous. I called it Your Move. And I love the way that animals are integrated into our lives. They bring so much joy, and I hope you enjoy the picture and the exhibition. Thank you.
I like storks. Storks whisper a message of love. They are a sign of fidelity and reward love. Their light flight announces their sharing tomorrow, whistling to cross the darkness towards new dawn. All this reminds us that even in fragile lives there is greater design, and that every spring the miracle of life is renewed.
Hello, I am Luca Arfini and I'm a communication professional from Italy but based in Amsterdam. And I've always been passionate about street art, in particular about graffitis. And when I saw urban animals, I thought it was the perfect challenge for me to think about new ways of how to blend street art with our surroundings. And also at the time of the competition, I was actually following a photography course at the University of Amsterdam, where we were studying which gave me style. And we were working on a project inspired by style on how to actually unite street art with our reality to actually build a new reality. And also at the time of all of this, actually I found myself in the east of London, which is a well-known creative hub with a lot of street art, from graffiti to statues. But what really impressed me was were actually these huge statues of elephants all over this area. And I was particularly inspired by this statue of an elephant that look as if he's about to drink water from like the fountain in the square. And I was really thinking, wow, this is like the perfect subject for the competition. And that's when I started to look the picture of his elephant, but also of all the other elephant. And I had a great time. It was a lot of fun actually to take part in this project, in this competition, and thinking about, you know, new ways of seeing animals, not as just like animated animals, but all the different representation of animals in urban settings.
Hi, I am Luca Domenichi and I am a passionate street photographer. I live in Siena, Italy. I love to say that my idea of street photography is really simple because I love to enjoy and to look for what is uncommon in the everyday common urban life. This time I noticed a dog in a window of a shop. The dog was an animated puppet, but for me it was better than a real dog because it was uncommon. And so I looked for an interaction with a human, and this is the idea behind Portami Fuori, that sounds like please bring me out. Thank you. Cheers.
Buongiorno a tutti, mi chiamo Luca Trotta, sono un fotoamatore. Ho avuto la passione della fotografia fin da ragazzino, le prime compattine, poi un po' di analogico, alla fine il digitale. Mi ha spinto a partecipare a questo concorso sicuramente il tema Urban Animals, che ritengo molto vicino alla street. La street è quel genere fotografico che io sento più mio, che più mi ispira, che più mi piace. Non c'è esattamente un progetto su questa foto, nel senso che io quando esco per fare street cerco di uscire non ho mai un obiettivo preciso e quindi cerco di fotografare quello che mi succede intorno, cercando di cogliere l'attimo giusto. Cosa mi ha ispirato questa foto? Sicuramente il contesto, 2 scene in una. Nella prima scena di sfondo 2 ragazze che si fanno dei selfie molto disinvolte, incuranti di ciò che gli capita attorno, e in primo piano il gabbiano, anche lui molto disinvoltamente, cerca cibo tra le persone. Penso che questa foto sia ideale per Urban Animals perché sicuramente parla del soggetto, in questo caso il gabbiano, che viene integrato nel contesto urbano e cerca del cibo facile dall'umano, appunto, quindi perdendo un po' di quello di selvaggio dovrebbe essere, e quindi ormai è un animale urbanizzato anche lui, con la comodità dell'uomo. Vi ringrazio a tutti per la possibilità, vi saluto e a presto.
Hi, I'm Marian Kleiner from Romania, and I'm honored to be part of the Urban Animals Project. I'm dedicated to street photography. The street is a journey we all take part in, each of us bringing our own energy and stories. This blend with those of others and with the places we pass through. In this context, Urban Animals add an unexpected, often ironic note to the urban scene, highlighting certain human behavior through their personality or playfully marking moments from the city's history.
Hello, I'm Markus Hoffmann. I'm a documentary photographer from Düsseldorf in Germany, and I'm very happy to be able to participate in Trieste Photo Days with my motif Sharks under the theme Urban Animals. This motif is from my series Fun Parks, and in all of my photographic work it's very important to me that all the pictures have a deeper level which creates a story. And I want people to discover the great absurdity of human existence. That's the reason why some pictures also contain a bizarre, cynical component that results from my love to reality. Perhaps at the end I'm an urban animal myself.
Hi, I'm Maria Grazia Dolcese. I live in Bergamo, in Italy.
I found it interesting to participate in this contest because I love animals in their natural environment. And so it made me think about how they can live in an urban context. For example, I have seen storks peacefully find a home in the ruins of houses. I have also noticed how man can adapt the animal to his image and likeness, making it lovable like Topoggio.
Hi everyone, I'm Marta and I'm very happy to participate in the Urban Animals exhibition because the theme was both fun and deeply engaging. I usually enjoy observing animal behavior not only in their natural habitat but also in their everyday interaction within the city. And I must admit that sometimes I fall into the habit of humanizing their behavior. And in the first picture, The Seagull's Awakening, what I find amusing was that why all the other gulls were noisily squeaking during the dawn. This one seemed to still be waking up, standing silently and perhaps waiting for its morning coffee. And in the other picture, the fatigamento is kind of cooling down. We see a dog that looks like it's resting after a jumping session on a trampoline, but if we look closely, we notice that the trampoline is broken. Maybe by the dog itself trying to climb onto it. The last picture, Sacred Sunset, was taken in the Langhe Hills of Piemonte on a winter Sunday afternoon during the low season. The village was completely deserted and the only living creatures around were these two little birds, simply meeting there to enjoying the magnificent color of the sunset on the horizon.
Thanks to Urban Animals, an interesting project by Exhibit Round, I have the possibility to show you a glimpse of the life of seagulls on the roofs of my town. Without human interference, the society of seagulls looks fascinating and complex against the big background of town buildings. After 2 years of observations, it is difficult for me not to find analogies between humans and seagulls.
Sono Michele D'Amico, mi interesso di fotografia da oltre 30 anni. Questo progetto degli animali urbani è veramente interessante in quanto riesce ad esplorare la capacità di questi animali ad adattarsi agli spazi creati dall'uomo. Ciò mi permette di raccontare la bellezza e la resistenza, nonché la resilienza che hanno questi animali ad adattarsi a questi spazi. La foto che ho presentato a questo progetto ha per nome Alati e rappresenta un gabbiano che arriva a sfiorare le ali di una statua di un angelo del Bernini, creando un dialogo tra le ali naturali e le ali scolpite. Questa foto rappresenta un momento in cui si incontra l'arte e la natura, simboleggiando la libertà, l'eleganza e la connessione tra i due mondi.
Hello, my name is Mila Mokina-Khairulova. I'm from Екатеринбург, Russia. Мои фотографии сделаны в разное время и в разных местах. Каждая фотография рассказывает уникальную историю животных, как домашних, так и городских. Главные герои моих съемок – это питомцы и воображаемые существа. Их совместное существование отражает, насколько разнообразен наш мир и сколько удивительных открытий могут принести городские животные. Thank you.
Hello, I am Monica Morozina from Lithuania, and I'm very happy that finally there is competition dedicated for world of animals and their presence in urban spaces. For me, photographs with animals are much more interesting because they are natural. Both domestic and wild animals adapt to our lives, and it's incredibly interesting to watch and to capture these moments. My inspiration photographing dogs came from Elliot Erwitt. Once he have told that you don't know any other animal who is so close to us in quantities of heart, sentiment, and loyalty. And I totally agree with him. Dogs have a special place in my heart, and my dog is my soulmate. My urban animal stories are very long because it began from childhood, from growing little goat and doll stroller at home to horse riding, work horse riding. Now I have a dog and a cat from the shelter. Particularly for this project, the dogs was not planned. I remember that in the morning I went to take my model and she was walking outside with her dogs, and I asked if I could photograph her with her dogs. I think you attract what you love.
Животные в нашем урбанистическом и технократичном мире, сколько бы мы ни проецировали на них свою рациональность, живут по своим инстинктам и правилам. Напоминаю, что наш мир – это всего лишь маленькая часть огромного мира. Ну и кроме того, они очень милые.
Hello, my name is Natalia Nichayeva. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be the part of this stage. I like this project and it was a really inspirational experience for me because of many reasons, and one of this is diversity of the topics and of course the location of this exhibition. I like Italy, you have great taste. This photo was captured inside of my motherland in the north of Russia, at hundreds of kilometers away from Moscow city, and globally I think dove is a symbol of peace and good news. And from my perspective and my journey in photo art is about discovering of my limits via film camera, my grandmother's film camera, and I like this art. I'm a fan of it, and I execute it with really passion. So thank you so much for your good news, and see you soon in Trieste. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Scoccia Nirvana. I'm from Italy, and I'm very, very happy to take a part of this beautiful project that I found very, very stimulating, because I always been passionate about the animal world in every shape, every place, and every animals. When I saw the call, I had just returned from Morocco, so I decided to bring one of the photos taken there. I hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Paolo Montevecchi, and I'm an Italian professional photographer. My photo is Ash. It was taken in Ain Benadou in the south of Morocco several years ago. The light was good. There was this guy who had a little gift shop, all Chinese stuff, I think. But he caught my attention because there was a kitten following him everywhere, by side. The cat is acting like an old friend. As they take a walk on the main street of this little town.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Piotr Suszek and I come from Poland. I'm very happy that I can be talking to you right now. And also I'm very happy that I can be part of this wonderful project, which is Urban Animal Project. And for me personally, it is impossible to talk about urban animals not mentioning about Elliot Erwitt. I remember him saying that he loves to shoot dogs because they are very sympathetic creatures. They are everywhere. In most of the cases, they don't mind being photographed, and then they don't ask for prints. So this is a very funny way of presenting the subject, but from the other side, it's very true. They are very sympathetic creatures, and they are everywhere. And we have to remember about that they are living alongside of us. And I think that projects like those are a wonderful way of building awareness among people, that we are not alone, that there are also the small animals that live alongside of us, and we have to look out for them and think about them. But also it is a wonderful way of cherishing animals, recognizing them, and awarding for everything that they go through living alongside of us people. So thank you everyone for letting me be a part of this wonderful project and for organizing it in such a wonderful manner. So good luck to everyone, and have fun watching our photos.
I am Robbie Ling Montgomery. 2 of my images were selected for the Urban Animals Call. One is of a Lipizzaner horse in its stable looking out the window, and it's a very rainy day. It's a black and white image, so it's kind of an emotional, evocative type of image. The other one is called Pedestrians. It's of 3 sandhill cranes, and they are crossing a road in just a regular suburban neighborhood with houses around, and there is a sign marking a pedestrian crossing, but the cranes are not in the pedestrian crossing. And it's because there's a baby bird and they're kind of prehistoric looking, interesting birds. It's kind of a humorous image.
Hi, my name is Bob Guido. I am a photographer who lives in Huntington, Long Island, just outside of New York City, and I am thrilled to participate in the Urban Animals exhibition in Trieste, Italy. I thought I would tell you a little bit about the images that I submitted. The first one is called All Good Here, and it was taken just outside of Central Park in New York City. I think there were 8 dogs in the photograph, and the poor dog handler was clearly exhausted, and that's when I decided to take the image. The second one was taken at Photoville in Brooklyn, New York. It's a photo exhibition on 2 levels, and I took this shot of an individual clearly with his best friend on his shoulder, and he's slipping him a dog victual or something. So at that point, I decided to take the picture, and I think it's kind of interesting. And finally, this is taken it's called Strolling in Washington Square Park, obviously taken in Washington Square Park near New York University. I was walking along and I saw this young lady strolling with her dog. And at first I didn't think they saw me when I took the picture, but they clearly did see me. But anyway, those are the pictures. I hope you enjoy them, and thank you again for permitting me to participate in your exhibition.
I'm Rudy Cadena. I'm a photographer from Belgium. I'm very honored to be able to show some images on this urban animal event within the Trieste Photo Days. The few images that I show here are picked from an ongoing project called A Book of Man, in which I try to paint a picture of the Isle of Man in all its aspects. The Isle of Man, a very small island in the Irish Sea. While working on this project, or on another project, you often see urban animals popping up in your story. Sometimes wanted, sometimes very unexpected. It's always nice if those encounters lead to a strong composition within a strong image. Enjoy the images.
Hello friends, my name is Simonetta Caligara from Italy. I'm very happy to be a part of the Urban Animal Project with one of my photographs, a curious and greedy seagull walking on the awning of a bar. This photo aims to represent how common it has become to find ourselves in our city in close contact with animals whose natural habitat was one of extreme freedom along the sea coast and circling in the immense sky. It called for me to discover how some animal tracks in the city mark a peaceful and collaborative coexistence between living beings of different species. See you in Trieste.
Ciao, my name is Stefania and I'm passionate about photography, travel and nature. Animals often feature in my photographs, not so much domestic animals, but rather wild ones that choose to frequent our cities. It's always surprising to see how naturally they find the ways to overcome the barriers we unknowingly place in their path. At the same time, the waste we leave behind provides them with food. The warm walls of our buildings protect them from the cold, while our parks and gardens offer shelter from predators they would otherwise face in their natural habitats. This is how urban animals manage to coexist with humans in the spaces we share, and I find that incredibly fascinating.
Hi, I'm Gustavo. I'm from Cuba and I live in Italy. Last year, I went to Morocco and Qatar. It was my first visit to these countries. We are talking about very different places, but there is one thing they have in common. Tons of stray cats in the souks, restaurants, shops, and mosques. Normally, stray cats and their kittens are looked after by locals that give them food and water. They appreciate their presence because in Islam, cats are seen as positive animals that deserve respect and care. So, we can say that in Morocco and Qatar, cats are part of urban life.
Hi, I'm Nassan Tafazoli. I'm from Iran and I live in Italy. I'm passionate about animal photography in urban life because it's helped me to discover a hidden world of animals and birds around us, even in the middle of cities. The first photo is called Friendship and Care. I took it in north of Italy. The little girl was playing with her dog, a few dogs near a lake. It was such a sweet moment. And it made me think how animals and birds show love and protection, not just to their humans, but also to everything around them. The second one is waiting. I saw this moment in Lisbon, just walking around the back streets and the dog sitting outside a home, going in, going out, like he was looking for someone. His eyes were full of emotions, like worried but still hopeful. I thought how much animals and humans are dependent on each other, even without speaking. And the last one is the earth is still a place of love. I took the Nice at sunset. A woman was just standing by the sea and birds were flying around her. It was so peaceful. Like birds were sharing love with her, with words, with earth. That moment reminded me, as long as birds close to us, love is still here.
Hello, I'm Tania Masson, an amateur photographer living in France, and I am thrilled to have been selected for the Urban Animals exhibition. My photographs are linked to the urban environment where I live, which is for me a territory of continuous discovery and daydreaming. In this environment, animals are everywhere. They surround us, are part of our lives, whether they are real or just representations. So the theme resonated as an invitation to be more attentive to them and capture unusual and unique images. The photo selected, the waiting room, evokes me a feeling of solitude of the two characters, waiting for the night to pass and the children to return. Thank you to the jury, the organizers. Congratulations to the other photographers and enjoy the exhibition.
Quando ho visto la proposta della nostra associazione fotografica,
Non potevo credere, veramente un bel progetto. Gli animali, la nostra compagnia, la nostra storia, lo stare comunque nella nostra vita vicino a un animale e l'animale vicino a noi, che sia carne, gatto, qualunque cosa possa piacere. Ed è questo che mi ha affascinato del contest, la possibilità di dare un'immagine anche della felicità che può trasparire tra il rapporto tra l'essere umano e l'animale. Per questo nascono le foto che ho provato a fare in un contesto appunto bello, quasi di poesia, nel senso seguendo la natura per la gatta, guardando una farfalla posata per caso e ancora una volta i gabbiani che aspettano un tozzo di pane e che circondano l'essere umano in una sorta di amore reciproco. Grazie per questa occasione.
Hello, I'm Simone from Austria. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be part of this wonderful project, Urban Animals. I always seek for depth in my photography, exploring the manifold layers behind the obvious. Animals, especially in urban surrounding, are reminding us on nature, of course, also claiming the space which human beings have taken, and in case of birds, sometimes also mirror our desires for freedom in many ways. In the image with the pigeons, there is a chair high in the air. This is part of an artwork by Marina Abramovic titled Spirit of Mozart, which aims to direct the gaze upward and contemplate on the spiritual, which does not require a physical seat. But it hasn't been fully considered that placed in a city, one must also account for very corporeal droppings from above. So it shows how animals participate in shaping the urban space and can also disrupt our lofty ideas. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Cristian Eugenio, and it's a great honor for me to be among the selected photographers for the Urban Animals project. My series Masters of the Street highlights stray dogs inhabiting the haunting beauty of emptiness during the COVID-19 lockdown. As a photojournalist, I had the opportunity and privilege of being on the streets of my hometown, La Paz, in the midst of the health crisis, seeking to question the lack of public policies on human responsibility and pet ownership that sadly often end up abandoned on the streets. On the other hand, the single photograph Winter Solstice, taken during the first days of sunrise at a popular viewpoint in my city, shows the energetic connection between human and pet at a very important moment celebrating the Andean New Year. Thank you very much. Keep it around and Trieste Photo Days. Gracias.
Hello, my name is Samia Berkaid. I'm a French-Algerian photographer living in Paris. Evolving with animals in a shared place such as the city, which is not intended for them, I couldn't help but observe the similarities that link us, and the extent to which the urban animal reveal our own conditions, and sometimes make us aware of the absurdity of our life as city dwellers. Ultimately, questioning the place of animals in urban environment led us to question our place in a world that was once theirs.
Hi, I'm Anna Weidle, art photographer from Germany. Urban animals who stay with themselves in our new artificial world. My project is about adaptation, strength, loneliness, and survival instinct in urban conditions of animals and us, human too. The illusion of nature in a dead environment.
The stories we have heard are fragments of a broader dialogue between the human and non-human, between what we build and what lives in the cracks of our creations. Urban animals are mirrors reflecting our cities, our relationship with nature, and ultimately with ourselves. They remind us that even the most artificial spaces are permeable to life, that nature always finds its place, and that perhaps in this mutual adaptation there is a lesson for us all. As our cities continue to expand, these photographic testimonies invite us to look with fresh eyes at our urban companions, to recognize their presence and their right to exist alongside us. Because after all, we are all urban animals sharing the same ever-evolving landscape.